freelance writer currently and capologist. Bringing some useful information to you Steeler fans. Now, let me tell you about my kind of odd intro. For anybody who does not know, I have left BehindTheSteelCurtain.com after 4.5 really good years. It was just time. Just going to kind of leave it at that. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I will probably just take some time off. You know, if writing was the only thing I did, then, yeah, I would have stayed. But, you know, that was just definitely a bit of a hobby of mine. So that being said, I'm gonna focus a bit on YouTube, and you know, kind of go from there. Yeah, I definitely do enjoy doing some of the YouTube stuff. Will not say that I'm the best. I will never say that. I just kind of do it for a bit of fun, and hopefully I do not suck that bad. So that being said, hopefully this finds everybody doing well out there in Steeler Nation. Boy, we got a week until kickoff. Man, how exciting is that? You know, a few weeks ago, I was not sure if the NFL season would actually get kicked off. I was concerned, you know, with the whole COVID thing. Still a bit concerned, but it seems like NFL players and coaches and staff have been really smart, have done a good job of keeping themselves healthy. Very few players have tested positive. You know, we went through that whole rampage of a whole bunch of players tested positive. And they weren't really positive. So hopefully that's over with. Well, tonight we're going to get into a little more of the depth chart that came out. I did miss last night. I was a bit under the weather. So we will get into that tonight. A couple other things I will be mentioning. Just some random news. David Dicastro, Cam Heyward. Little practice squad stuff. So okay, let's hop right into this. You know, I'm going to say a couple of things here. I was going to look at the Steelers depth chart from their website, but you know what? I really don't like it. There's 2 wide receivers. Where's the other 3? Well, geez, you got to scroll down for the other 3. For me, that just doesn't make any sense. Also, you know, do we see some issues here? What do we got going on here at right tackle that was taken care of today? And I'm going to explain that in a little bit. So we're going to hop over to our lads, which is a lot easier to read. I'm going to say our lads is not entirely correct. They sometimes go off and do their own thing. I don't really mind them so much. Generally, they're pretty correct. So we'll just dive right into this. So we got Juju. You know, I'm expecting a big bounce back year with Juju. As long as he can stay healthy. You know, there's always going to be that big asterisk with any player. As long as he can stay healthy. That can be said for any player. You know, TJ Watt could have a terrible year if he doesn't stay healthy. You know, those asterisks and ifs and ands and buts. You just throw my hands up at stuff like that. Juju should have a big bounce back year. I'm a big Juju fan, not a hater like so many others. Last year, I'm just going to say, was more of a fluke, injury prone, or not injury prone, but injured, and had a bad supporting cast. Claypool is going to be his direct backup, I guess. Now, the one thing I'm going to say about Juju is, where exactly does he fall on the depth chart? I mean, not on the depth chart, but are they going to use him on the outside? Are they going to use him in the slot? I would prefer if they did not use him in the slot. I really would like him on the outside more. I would like James Washington. I would like James Washington on the other side. And then I would like Deontay Johnson in the slot. I really like Deontay Johnson in the slot. Now, that's when we're going 3 wide. Chase Claypool will be the 4th wide receiver, no matter how you slice it. And then Ray McCloud. But here's a caveat. Ray McCloud might actually kind of be the 4th wide receiver on game days because of his special teams ability. And I'll get into that later on. Left tackle, Alejandro Nueva. Still love that guy. And people knocked him last year. I didn't think he was that bad. I thought he was a nice, solid $8 million left tackle. This is where I agree with our lads more than the Steelers depth chart. They do have Chooks Okorafor as his direct backup, and then Zach Banner. Chooks, we'll go ahead and we'll hop into that right now. Well, they do have Okorafor here, which is wrong. Zach Banner did win the starting right tackle position. So going to jump around a little bit. I'm disappointed in Okorafor that he did not beat out Banner. Banner still at 335 had 10 whopping pass protections last year. I did some tape on Okorafor in 2018 when he made a start. And I didn't think he was that bad. Or made a couple of starts. I didn't think he was that bad. I thought he was okay. I thought he was average, maybe a shade under average. But this also gets jumbled up a little bit because David Dicastro is out. He's already been ruled out, which, I'm going to tell you, that's concerning. That's a concerning rule out. Because getting ruled out this early makes you really think that week 2 is going to be up in the air as well. So in his place will be Steven Wisniewski, who, I do have confidence in Wisniewski. That's why I wanted him at left guard. He has not played a lot of right guard throughout his career, but he's played in the interior for 10 years. At either center or right or left guard. I don't have a problem with him there. He should be fine. Pouncey, of course, at center. I would like to see a bounce back year out of him. Will we actually get one? It's going to be the tough question. And Filer, I think he'll be fine at left guard. Even though I had really pushed for Filer being at right tackle, I'm done. I'm done with that. So I will just lick my wounds from being wrong. Take a little bite out of my hat, eat a little crow, and be fine with Filer. Hopefully Banner can run with that right tackle position. I would love that. Absolutely love that. I have high hopes for this line. I want to see this line return to, a few years ago when they were good, where they were dependable not only against the pass and pass protection, but against the run as well. They have Mcdonald as the starting tight end, which that's wrong, I believe. I think it's going to be Ebram. I think he'll come out of week 1 with the most snaps. The big knock on Ebron is he just cannot pass block, run block, or whatever. And I'm not going to say McDonald's a stud at pass blocking or run blocking, because he's not. He's okay. Zach Gentry, everybody knows my feelings there. Don't want to see him. Hopefully a weekly inactive. Big Ben. But, if his elbow's healthy. If he doesn't stay healthy, what could happen? But, no. This team is going to win or lose with Big Ben. With Big Ben in there or out of there. We've seen it when the team was one-dimensional in 2018 when we passed the ball over 70% of the time. We can't do that. We absolutely can't do that. And that's where we got to rely on that offensive line. We have to get some production on first downs. And everybody knows my thoughts on Rudolph. I have never been impressed with Rudolph. I've done film on him, but I'm not going to bash on him because he's a backup quarterback, and that's what you expect. I just don't think he'll ever amount to a starting quarterback in the NFL. That's my biggest thing with him. Josh Dobbs, I was never impressed with Dobbs. I would definitely really like to see more Duck, but that's just my bias, and I've tried to iron out my bias when it comes to Duck. Apparently, 32 NFL GMs don't see Duck the way I see Duck. So, I enjoy doing the whole armchair GM thing, but I have to give this fight up and say, those 32 GMs know more than me. That being said, I will look at the practice squad here in a bit. We'll get into James Conner, another guy that the Steelers had a down year last year, and boy, all the boo birds came out and started really putting the hate on these players. James Conner. He was a Pro Bowler. And then all of a sudden, people want him out of town. Gone. I don't mind James Conner when he's healthy. And he's got to stay healthy. Benny Snell is more of a pounder. I do not mind Snell. But I don't want to see Bell coming off the field. And Mike Tomlin came out and said that Bell is his bell cow back. Well, there's no shock there. There should be absolutely no shock there. Because that's how Tomlin does things. They do have Anthony McFarland, and I was going to look at that compared to the Steelers depth chart. Okay. So they do have McFarland there. I was kind of interested to see if they were going to have McFarland in front of Samuels. Now, that being said, I'm going to go back to the what I said earlier with the wide receivers. I could see McFarland inactive on game days, depending on his special team abilities. I've said this before that I'm not a big Samuels fan and never have been. He is what he is. He was a player coming out of college that did not have a position. And the Steelers really tried to make him into a running back, which the only part of running back he has is the back part. He's not a runner. He's a receiver. He does not have the running back instincts. You don't see him leaning forward after contact. You rarely ever see him break any contact. I like him catching the ball though. But who comes out with the more special teams ability? Samuels had lost half his special team snaps around week 8 last year. Will they both be active on game day? I wouldn't expect so, but we could. Derek Watt. I'm not going to talk about our $2 million fullback much. If we see 10% of offensive snaps, I would be fine with that. Will we see some trick plays with him? Will we see some like fullback wheel routes or something creative like that? Or maybe some kind of fullback middle screen like we used to see with the tight ends. I don't know. I would like to. I'd like to see some creativity with the fullback. If we're going to pay him that much, might as well. But, there's a lot of mouths to feed on that offense. Look at all these mouths. Connor, Mcdonald, Ebron, Juju, Washington, Johnson, Claypool. All those wide receivers are high draft picks. You have a former Pro Bowler in Connor. You have Ebron who can score oodles of touchdowns. You have Mcdonald who, he can catch the ball when he's healthy. There's a lot of mouths to feed. So how often do you see Derek Watt on the field? I'm interested to see people's thoughts on him, what he's actually gonna bring to the table. All right, let's hop over to the defense a bit here. Cam Heyward, I will say that he got a mega contract. Now, I've only seen some of the details come out, but I have not seen most of them. I'm gonna throw out some stuff here on Cam. He signed a 4-year extension. The new money is $65.6 million. So his total value of his 5-year deal is $75.1 million. He's now the highest paid NFL defensive player over the age of 30 in NFL history, based in yearly average. Since 2017, Hayward had 181 pressures on the quarterbacks. That's 4th. Pass rush win rate, according to PFF, 5th, 15.5%. That's pretty impressive. His pass rush grade was over 87.9%, which is 5th. 6th, since here's a crazy number. 6th in pass deflections since 2013. That's crazy. That is crazy. So part of Hayward does get a $17.5 million signing bonus. Ooh, I still thought that was low. Still with the Steelers pulling out how they do contracts. He does, I believe he does get all that right away. He is also getting a signing bonus of, let me see. He gets, okay. Sorry about that. I had this written down wrong. 2.75 million in a roster bonus as well. And he converts his base salary to $1.5 million. So his 2020 cap number should actually drop from $13.25 million to $11.5 million, which, you know, that's a savings of $1.75 million, which, you know, isn't much, but it helped. Now there has not been a full release of his cap number yet. So I just thought I'd drop that out. Now when I do see those full numbers, I'll throw out a little video on that as well. I need to throw one out on. I threw one out on David Dicastro with his. One thing I was surprised about is that Carlos Davis is actually his direct backup. I was confused by that. It still doesn't make much sense to me. Carlos Davis is 325, while Isaiah Buggs is 295. You know, I'm not going to bash on that. You know, they've seen him in practice. We haven't. We've got no reports. I'll be really interested to see if that's actually true. If Ulysses goes down or needs a break, you know, who comes in? Will it be Buggs? Will it be Davis? When Cam goes off the field, are we really going to see Carlos Davis there? Probably not. It'll probably be Wormley. But what happens if, you know, Hayward and Hayward are both off the field? Man, are we really going to see Wormley and Carlos Davis? Oof. I don't want to see that. I really don't. You know, I've said it before with Ulysses at nose tackle. The reason why I say this, okay, you know, people bring this up all the time about Javon Hargrave. He was only 305. Same weight as Ulysses. But Javon Hargrave was 240 pounds from butt down. That guy's butt was seriously huge. He was just one big muscular butt. Huge. And they talk about, you know, Big Snack was big. Yeah, Big Snack was built like Hargrave was. A big, huge, muscular butt. Which Ulysses and Buggs, they don't have. So how much will we actually run in a true base 3-4? You know, I do get concerned. I am going to be concerned about Barkley on Monday night, rolling up the middle. Especially if the Giant center can take Ulysses on one-on-one while they use their guards to push either Cam or Tuitt aside. So I'm not gonna hound on that. I might hound on that later in the week, but I'm not gonna really bash on that too much tonight. TJ Watt, all stud. I mean, what do you say? What can you say about Watt? I mean, he's a stallion. Ola Adeniji. I've done, you know, like I said, I need to actually see if I still have his tape from his rookie year. He'll be okay rotational. Not gonna lose my mind. Bush, you know, I do have high hopes for Bush. I really do. I hope that he keeps maturing into a better coverage linebacker. Gotta have that coverage out of him. You know, when we get into nickel, because we do play a lot of nickel. The one big surprise that everybody sees here on the depth chart is there's Marcus Allen. You know, 2018 fifth rounder. Converted from safety to linebacker. I don't get overly thrilled about conversions like that. Mark Barron couldn't make the conversion, in my opinion. Buchanan, who used to play for Arizona, he couldn't make that conversion either. And there's been others. And I don't know why. Let's see if they have him as well on here. I'm just making sure that these are lining up. They should. So it is surprising that Marcus Gilbert. Wow. Whoops. My bad on the Marcus Gilbert. Let's go with Ulysses Gilbert. Let's go with him instead. My apologies. There's a lot of Steeler fans. A lot in Steeler Nation were thrilled about Ulysses Gilbert. Now he's third on the depth chart. Behind a guy that's just converting. That's very concerning. You know, I haven't been thrilled with the depth at inside linebacker. You know, I still don't like it. I'm even more concerned now that Gilbert is third on the depth chart. Spillane, you know, another guy I really, you know, I don't want to see Allen, Gilbert, Spillane very often, or at all, except for on special teams. I'm not even going to bash on Vince Williams. We need him to step up and be a solid run stopper, especially with a little light. Being light on the interior. We need his big presence there. But Dupree, I'm a lot higher than most are. I had no problem paying, the Steelers paying him $16 million on his franchise tag. I really didn't. I'm okay with that. Because one thing, people knock him that, yeah, he had a breakout year and a contract year. Well, I guess it was a contract year. Well, not really. He didn't get a contract out of it. He got tagged. Sometimes it just takes longer for players to develop into pass rushers. But one thing he's always been solid at is stopping the run, setting the edge. Steeler Nation, you got to give these players credit for that. I'll say that Jarvis Jones couldn't pass rush to save his life, but he could set the edge. And that's what Bud Dupree brings, is setting the edge. And does it well. Stops the run very well. Now, I will say one thing that the Steelers defense changed from a couple years ago was they don't put Watt and Dupree out in pass coverage as much anymore. Holy smokes, a couple years ago when they were putting them out there for 150 plays for the season, that was crazy. That's 15%. Which was just way, way too much. But now we've gone away from that last year. Hopefully we'll stay away from that. Alex Highsmith, we'll see. We'll see what Alex Highsmith is going to bring to the table. I don't expect much out of rookies. The big reason why I don't expect a whole lot out of rookies is they didn't have much of an offseason. They had no preseason games. They had no real scrimmage games against other teams. And I don't care what comes out of reporters' mouths out of the training camp. They're gonna toe the Steeler line because the Steelers had to approve of stuff that they published. All right. That being said, Joe Hayden, I hope he's as solid as he was last year. He had in my opinion, he had his first very good year since 2014. I'm going to get knocked on that, I'm sure. But, he was solid. He was solid. My biggest problem with Hayden, and I know everybody probably gets sick of hearing it, is he's just not worth his salary cap number. Now, the guy who's definitely worth his salary cap number is Steven Nelson. Yeah, I was so happy when we got him, and he shined. Borderline top 10 cornerback last year. I think he can move his way into top 10. He's got a few issues to him, but nothing real overly glaring. I like that they're actually showing some truth in this depth chart here. The Steelers depth chart, Steelers.com depth chart is the same way. Justin Lane, he is the outside guy. I don't know if I really want to see any James Pierre. I really don't. Seeing an undrafted guy this year, that scares me. That scares me a lot. But, I guess he shined a lot in preseason. Training camp. We're now into the safeties. Oh, sorry, for the nickelbacks here. This is why, I said that I'm glad that they show Lane there. Because I don't think... I think Sutton is only a nickelback with Hilton. And I don't think he's going to push Hilton one bit. I really don't. They're both in a contract year, which, the loser of the battle, which I'm sure is Sutton, is going to miss out on a lot of money. I think Hilton will be gone after this year to greener pastures. I think he'll flourish like he has. Okay, on the safety, Minka, All-Pro, didn't really see a lot of plays with the Steelers last year. Yeah, he was definitely in the right place at the right time with a lot of turnovers. But he really was not in on... Quarterbacks didn't throw at him. Now, did quarterbacks not throw at him because he was playing center field? Or were quarterbacks scared of throwing at him? Probably a combo of both. We'll see more this year. I would like to see him more run stopping this year. And his backup, Sean Davis. I liked Sean Davis. What really killed his... Sean Davis is a lot like Terrell Edmunds. He had a lot of problems catching up with the speed of the NFL. He was always one step behind. And in stopping the run, Sean Davis, he would just take poor angles because he just misjudged the speed of players. I did like Davis in some aspects. I don't think he was nearly as trash as most Steeler fans say that he was. I'm going to give him a little benefit of the doubt. And then, of course, he missed his last year. But, that being said, I'll also say that a questionable... Okay, so Washington gave him a $2 million signing bonus. And they cut him. That's surprising. And one of the safeties that they kept on their team was a 7th rounder. So, that being said, I don't want to really see Sean Davis on the field. Do I really... would I rather see him or Dangerfield? No, okay. No, I'd rather see Sean Davis than Dangerfield. You got me there. So that's where it gets I get a bit nervous when we start talking about, maybe big dime, where we're going to have 3 safeties on the field. Or, possibly big nickel with 3 safeties on the field. Probably won't happen, but will Sean Davis be a liability? Did Washington get rid of him because he's actually worse than a 7th round rookie this year? There's questions. There's questions that need to be answered that first game. Punter, we got Dustin Colquitt. Everybody is in Steeler Nation is cheering. Jordan Berry, he had a really good first half of 2019, and then he just kind of imploded, down the stretch, which was too bad. He was with us for 4 years. But, we also saved some money. One interesting fact with Dustin Colquitt is he took a veteran minimum benefit salary, which is quite interesting. It's a little quirk with the CBA. I'll go over this real quick. He just, I think he gets paid like around $950,000, but he'll only count $750,000 against the cap. There's my nerdy cap for the day. Boswell, I want to see Boswell be the Boswell he was last year. Cam Heyward, yep, he's a long snapper. Didn't even have to draft him. Holders, Colquitt. Kickoffs, Boswell still. Punt returners. Punt and kickoff returners, I guess no surprise with the punt return, still being Deontay Johnson. This is why I say that Deontay Johnson probably will not be might not be a huge part of the offense. I'm going to walk that back. He still will be. I would like to see if he is getting too many targets at wide receiver that they back him off of punt return duties and go with Ray McLeod or I just don't really know enough about James Pierre. Can he return? The kick return duties, I'm baffled by this. McFarland had one kickoff return in college. It was for 40 yards. I bet it was pretty impressive. But still, just one. Didn't catch the ball much. He had 4 fumbles also in college. So, I worry about a bit with the kick returns. I would like to see, the Steelers love going with running backs on kickoff returns. I guess, you can't have Jalen Samuels back there because he's just not elusive enough. Me personally, I would rather see Ray McLeod until we get to see, what we get out of Pierre. We don't have much depth, and that's my biggest concern with the team is we just don't have much depth, and that's especially on defense, and that's scary for me. It really is. Cornerbacks, I'm happy with. Safeties, I'm not going to cry about Sean Davis and Dangerfield. Dangerfield has made some starts. We don't want to see him starting, but at least he has some starts under his belt. Where at other positions, we don't know. The whole inside linebacker, spot. These guys haven't even seen inside linebacker snaps in the regular season. Depth is going to be a concern, and we've been lucky. We've been very lucky. We came out of training camp with no injured reserve, I believe. I don't believe a single player was put on IR. A couple of dings. Didi's not going to start week 1. I'll just run through the practice squad. I won't. I'll just make a couple of things. Duck is on the practice squad, and Smallwood. Now I think Smallwood might have some return ability to him. Could we actually bring somebody off the practice squad on a weekly basis just to play special teams? Like a special kickoff return specialist? That could be a possibility. Okay, one couple of finishing off notes here. Over the cap has the Steelers. It's just a smidge under $8 million. Now, I did see a report that somebody put out there on Twitter. It might have been Joe Curry. I can't remember who it was, that had the Steelers listed at $6 million. By the beginning of the season, I hope to have a more exact number on that. There, like I said, there's no contract details yet for Cam. I will we'll get that out to y'all as soon as I can. David Dicastro, his contract is out there. So his contract did balloon to over $14 million for next year. It's a big number. That's a big number. And I do expect them to sign him for an extension before next year. Can we drop that cap number some? Possibly. Depends on what he's going to want. He's one of the premier guards in the game. So it's going to be interesting to see what he'll take. So there you go. Just a quick rundown of the depth chart, and some other little news tidbits for y'all. Whew. Well, wasn't that a ball of fun? All right. That being said, I do have huge expectations for the Steelers. I do expect us to be in the AFC Championship game, going toe-to-toe with whoever. I think this could be a 13-3, 14-2 team. I really do. If, but, and. Those are going to be thrown throughout the season. I do think Tomlin is a good coach and can lead this team to it. 13-3, 14-2. It's not 14-2, 12-14. 12-14. Woo, boy. Let's try this again. Hey, how about 12-4? 12-4, 13-3. Get back to that. But there's certain things that we're going to have to do. We can't be one-dimensional. We cannot just throw the ball to all these young wide receivers. Got to get James Conner involved. And that starts with that offensive line coming back to form. This defense, it might not have much depth to it, but boy, oh boy, it is scary good. This should be the number one defense in the NFL. If, but, and it can stay healthy. Knock on wood that team stays healthy. All right. I might put out a couple of videos later this week. I need to get on some kind of schedule, if I possibly can, on doing some live streams. Right now, I'm just kind of playing it by ear. If I do it, it's generally going to be around 9 Eastern. So hopefully that will be good enough for the East Coast and the West Coast guys. Steeler Nation's all spread out. All right, all. This has been Flip Fisher. If you enjoyed my content, give me a thumbs up. I'm trying. I'm working. If you think I sucked, give me a thumbs down. Somebody did in my last video. I'm okay with that. I got thick skin. I know I'm not the best YouTuber around, but I try. Be sure to smash that bell and subscribe. Gotta get notified. Smashing that bell. Get notified when I go live or put up content. All right. Take care there, Steeler Nation.